Melania Trump. Now, the White House hasn't said how President Trump will fill that time, but of course this trip as President Trump is facing several problems back at home due to a banner week that he's had where he not only fired the Attorney General, but now has an intense amount of scrutiny on who he has tapped to run the Justice Department in the meanwhile while he finds a permanent replacement for Jeff Sessions. But also the president banning a reporter from the White House and implying that election officials in Arizona and Florida have rigged the election after those midterms on Tuesday, and the votes are still being counted in some of those very crucial Senate races. And President Trump is implying that those are being slated to benefit the Democrats and hurt Republicans. So the president has all those issues going on. He just met with the French president, who, of course, as you noted last night, fired off that tweet being critical of the French president, Emmanuel Macron, for some comments he made during a radio interview. So certainly a lot going on for President Trump while he's supposed to be here commemorating the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. But it seems like most of the events commemorating that will be held off until tomorrow, as far as the president's trip here goes for the rest of the day.
All righty. Caitlin Collins, we appreciate it so much. Thank you.
All right, let's put that tweet back up, and we're going to talk about this. President Trump, just as he was leaving Air Force One and going into Paris, he tweeted, President Macron of France has just suggested that Europe build its own military in order to protect itself from the U.S., China, and Russia. Very insulting, but perhaps Europe should first pay its fair share of NATO, which the U.S. subsidizes greatly. Let's talk about it now. Retired Major General James Spider Mark, CNN military analyst and head of geopolitical strategy at Academy Securities, is with us. General, good morning to you.
Victor, good morning. Thank you.
So let's take that in two parts here. First, what the president was responding to. This is an interview with President Macron. This was Europe 1 Radio, as reported by Agence France Presse. First, he said that we have to protect ourselves with respect to China, Russia, and even the United States. When I see President Trump announcing that he's quitting a major disarmament treaty, which was formed after the 1980s Euro missile crisis that hit Europe, who is the main victim? Europe and its security. We will not protect Europeans unless we decide to have a true European army. How do you receive those statements from the French president and the reaction from President Trump?
Yeah, first, the statements by President Macron are of tremendous concern. I would say my first reaction is, ouch. We've got a very strong ally, especially today, especially, the centennial celebration of the ending of the Great War, the war to end all wars, which is just phenomenal in our history, that, the inhumanity of man trying to solve a problem with the amount of technology that was developed then, the lack of inhibition. There were no laws that governed how we were going to employ that technology. And then the fact that our tactics on the ground could not get ahead of or really employ that technology. So you ended up with this immense stalemate, and the killing fields were just horrendous. So and an opportunity for all of us to come together and to embrace what we did together, and then look forward and say, look, we can't allow this to happen again. Victor, the first duty of every soldier is to remember. So we must remember the sacrifices that took place and then be able to look forward. And now we've got the President of the United States, we've got the President of France saying, look, you guys need to step up, and France suggesting that they have to protect itself from the United States. But that's the inevitable outcome of a conversation when there's a lack of predictability in these very uncertain and ambiguous times. So the calming voice needs to be, look, we're with you. NATO is inviolate. It is